Hey everyone, this is Gabriel, designer here at Slingshot, and I'm here to talk to you about our Parawing. So we are jumping into the fray with this new toy, and from a design perspective, it was, of course, a very open project. We had very few restrictions. It's a new sport. No one even knows which direction it's going, so it was a very fun thing to work on. And we decided to go for a Parawing that we think has a little bit of the best of all the ones that we've, tested. So we tested some that were great at downwind. We built some prototypes that were great at upwind. And we decided for the version 1 of the Parawings, we wanted it to be a good all-around wing. We built it with your average consumer who is learning to Parawing in mind. So highly versatile Parawing. It has great upwind ability, but we tried not to sacrifice on the low end as much as we could. So that means relatively low aspect ratio to kind of have that grunt. Does allow you to go upwind. The way we bridled the bar has very good D-power for the version 1 Parawings. We're very fortunate, the design team here at Slingshot, to live in Hood River, right by this famous spot called the Hatchery. And the Parawing's been all the rage. And so of course, all the design team here wanted to say, okay, what do we see out there? How can we improve it? And how can we put, the Slingshot touch onto that sport? So that's what drove the development of this Parawing. But we still wanted to be conscious of the rest of the world. And, we're very fortunate to live in an area that has world-class waves, world-class wind, but we need this Parawing to work for anyone, anywhere. And I think that's the underlying philosophy behind it. It's not made for the pure upwind, it's not made for the pure downwind. Really making it accessible to as many riders in as many locations as possible. That was our big goal. The Parawinging is incredibly new as a concept, as a sport, as an idea. Even the name, people are debating what to call it. And so it was a very open development process. There is no right or wrong answer right now. And so we focused on what we as riders wanted to get out of a Parawing. And that was a versatile wing that had very good power on, power off, very good D-power. So when you sheet out, it sits farther forward of the window, it takes you upwind. If you need to get going, you're stuck in a little bit lighter of a hole, you still have that power to sheet in, that stability. It is going to hold, it's not going to start shooting backwards and stalling. And it has that steering that should be intuitive for anyone that's been a winger or a kiter before. So making it really rider friendly and allowing it to let you go ride the waves that you want to ride. Slingshot has a history of being on the cutting edge of a lot of sports. And we really do want to continue that, but we also want to maintain the quality that our customers expect of Slingshot. And so we really made an effort to say, okay, we had a Parawing in March. Is that something that we're willing to put into our customers' hands? Is that something that I would personally go ride myself? And we decided, no, we still need a lot of work. And so that takes us here today, where it's still an innovative product, but it has a lot of the quirks and issues ironed out. And so even though it is a V1 Parawing, we're pretty proud to say that you should have a lot fewer of the typical V1 quirks that you'll find in most products. So we're very proud of that. We have a profile that we worked on quite hard to make sure that it's not going to have collapses at any given point. The steering is very intuitive, and you have a very big range of power on, power off, so a big D-power. So when you're trying to get up on foil, when you sheet in, it'll give you the power you're looking for, and then trying to go upwind, you sheet out, it'll shoot forward in the window. And yeah, let off the extra power that you don't need when you're on foil. So this Parawing, relatively low aspect ratio compared to what we started with. So that, of course, is going to make it sit more as an all-around Parawing as opposed to pure upwind performance. But the benefit that we get out of that is you can get out of the hole a little better, and it's a lot more monoblock in its behavior. So when you're steering, you're getting less kind of snake movement, and if you steer, the whole thing moves as a cohesive unit. So going through a jibe where you're slightly underpowered, the wing will come around as one and not stall and come out where you need it to be. Or even if you're going through attack, you know, it's very predictable in its movements, like over your head. We also chose to go with a internal structure and bar that are both quite simple and packable. So while you do get the upwind performance, the bar and the general packability of the wing, collapsibility and packability are quite good. So you're not going to spend half your downwinder trying to get it into a bag or trying to collapse it and trying to relaunch it. So the ease of use and the ability to really eke out and squeeze out as much riding as you want was an emphasis on the design process. One of the components of our design that makes it as packable as possible is we really spent a lot of time and a lot of energy optimizing the bridle layout. So you have a much simpler and more refined bridle set than you would in our earlier prototypes or in other existing pairings. So less chance of tangling, easier to get in and out of deployment. And the bar is light, small, short, so it should not get in the way of deploying or in your maneuvers or packing it down. It is a very modular design in its current configuration. So I know a little bit about aerodynamics, but no one knows everything. And so if someone riding this pairwing finds a setting that they like more, you know, they find that the arc or the sweep or something, they change it to like it more. I'm always open to feedback and always open to, you know, improving it however I can. And I enjoy the tinkering. And so if anyone out there enjoys the tinkering, it is something that was kept in the design, not necessarily for the sale, but when we went to finalize it, we said, well, this is such a new sport, it's changing so fast, that ability to customize is something that we want to keep in there in case someone wants to play with it. It is a good baseline wing, so if someone doesn't want to do that and just put it in their bag and forget about it for months and take it out and have it be ready, that was also put into consideration. One of the things we emphasized was really making sure that the collapse, the way the wing collapses, is easy. Through our testing of our own prototypes and just what's on the market, there was a little bit of a sticking point in the usability when you went to collapse it. And so we implemented some various different methods. You can stall it, you can kind of collapse your A's, or we came up with a system that, not unique, but we're pretty happy with, where you can effectively gradually collapse all the cells in a controlled manner, so that when you finally pull it in, it's a nice little concertina. The lines are all nice and neat, and you haven't burnt your hands trying to get it in. So we're pretty happy with that. I honestly want you to forget about the Parawing when you're riding. So I want it to be a tool to achieve whatever you want to achieve in your session. And so if that means deploying it 10 times and doing 10 little upwind laps and stowing it away, I don't want the Parawing to be the limiting factor. I don't want your legs or your lungs or whatever the session ender is going to be to not be the Parawing. So that's where we're at right now. As we move forward, I do want to allow you to go into even more exploration. So more than not being in the way, I want it to be the reason that you were able to do a certain session, a certain sport, a certain location. In general, the product design here at Slingshot, we really make an effort to have a wide variety of riders, or really everyone who the product is designed for should have a say in what they think of the product. So for most of our products, we do that here locally through some tried and tested and vetted riders of all shapes and sizes who will tell us, okay, this is what I think of this product, this is what I don't like. For parawinging, it's an interesting situation because it's a very, very open-ended question. The sport itself isn't defined. What we want out of the product isn't defined. And so this is where I think it's a great idea to have, you know, people from all over the world give their input on what they like, what they don't like, and more importantly, what they would like to see out of future pairings. Because any designer here, a good portion of their time is spent really trying to define what you are looking for out of a product. And so bringing as many external inputs and stakeholders will allow us to really focus on ensuring that the design is great without putting out a great design for the wrong thing. You know, now we can really put out a Parawing or whatever it might be. Who knows what it'll evolve into. Putting it out there as a product that your slingshot rider wants to ride. Parallels to the kite development are quite strong. You think about early kites, and we're very fortunate here at Slingshot to have lived through all of that, not me personally, but the history of the company is here. And the problems that early kites had, a lot of those are still being solved in Parawings. So where they fly in the window, how long should the bar be? How much D-power do you need? Right now there's no right or wrong answer, and depending on where the sport goes, we'll get an answer. And this is where having a much bigger, more diverse group of testers and riders will be very useful. And hopefully fun for everyone involved, because I love doing this, and I assume that people in the water sports industry also want to do this. The goal is to listen and learn as a group. And so I have ideas of what I want to do moving forward, but the exercise here is to not be too set in my ways that I don't listen to input from the people who are actually riding these. So the direction of the product will depend on what everyone likes and dislikes. The ability to concisely convey what you didn't like or what you did like about the wing is really what we're looking for in beta testers. So if you went out there and you were underpowered, a little snippet as to what that meant for you. You know, you're on your A leaderboard at 13 to 14 knots, small chop, and when you say you're underpowered, maybe that meant the pumping on the Parawing isn't good, or the pumping technique is different than what you're used to on the wing, or it sits too far forward in the window, or it's stally, or you can't steer, whatever it might be. So really, as many concrete points as you can give is very useful for me. Positive feedback is always welcome, but what I'm really looking for is, you know, what are your little sticking points with the wing, and what do you want to improve? Everyone on this program, if you're here, it's because you are interested in Parawing in some way and may or may not have tried other Parawings. So another kind of metric that is useful for me is what you are riding on otherwise from the Slingshot Parawing. So it gives me some very good comparisons. So you're on some competitor's brand that you tried, they came out with a new thing, maybe I don't have access to it. Learning how that goes is very useful, and whether the Slingshot one is better in some ways, worse in some ways, I always love hearing about that, and so I can make sure and keep striving to make the best one out there. What I like about Parawinging is that it has not been, you know, set into its own little box yet. You can do what you want with it for the sport. We happen to live in the Mecca for these sports, but this really allows for people all over the world to explore new conditions, explore new wave conditions, wind conditions, new lakes that they never would have, you know, thought of going on. And so I think for me personally, it's a very exciting sport to be a part of. I'm interested to see where it goes. I hope we can make the best product in the world. And I know in the sports that I don't work in, I'm always keen to see what's going on in the inner workings. And so hopefully for anyone that's interested in that, you have some answers and can have some fun with all of us here, because we have a pretty great job. And so hopefully everyone can enjoy it.